Hi, this is Ian Jones's tutorial on how to install a battery in an automotive vehicle. This is going to be more for consumers who are trying to start doing basic maintenance on their vehicles like oil changes, tire rotations, and batteries. This will be the video for you. So first off, the equipment and tools you're going to need for the job. First off, you're going to need a safety glasses to protect your eyes when you're doing any automotive work. Also, depending on the condition of the battery, this one is clean, so we won't have to worry about it with this one. But if there's a lot of corrosion or some spilled battery acid, you're going to want to be wearing some gloves to protect your hands from that. Next up, you're going to want some wrenches. For this one, I'm going to need a 13mm wrench for the terminals, but you'll usually use between 8mm and 13mm size wrenches for battery installations. Next, I have an electric impact with an extension and socket on it. That's going to be for the hold down for the battery. A normal ratchet and socket will do just fine. This just makes the job a lot easier and smoother, so that's why I use it. Next, we have the terminal and post cleaners for the batteries. This side with the spiral brushes, this will be used for the terminal once you get it off the battery, and then on the inside here you'll be using that for the post, and that's just to clean up any of the leftover corrosion from the terminal and clean up the new battery post, make sure there's a good connection. And finally, we have the memory saver. The memory saver isn't necessary for the job, but what this will do is keep your computer settings the same from before you took out the battery. What this will do, so like your radio presets and your clock time, this will make sure those stay the same. And so what you're going to want to do is take it over to inside the vehicle. On the driver's side by the pedals and the hood latch, there will be a connector down there, and then you'll plug it in there and turn it on. And unfortunately, this is a rather older truck, so I won't be able to show you that, but you'll see it. You'll know it when you see it. Alright, so now that we have everything set up to do the battery installation, first off, you're going to want to put on your safety glasses and always protect yourself. Once you do that, you're going to want to distinguish which of the terminals is the negative and positive terminal. Best way to distinguish this, 9 times out of 10, the battery terminal, that's for the positive side, it's either going to be red like this one, or it's going to have a red cable next to it. Also, most batteries will have a positive sign engraved next to the positive terminal, and then on the negative side they'll have a minus. On the new battery, to tell the same, it'll still have the engravement of the plus sign, but it'll also have this red cap on the positive side. And if there is a cap on the negative side, they'll be black, but there usually isn't a cap on the negative post. Alright, so once you've figured out which one's the negative and which one's the positive, you then want to go to the negative terminal and loosen the nut. You want to make sure it wiggles, make sure it's free. So then once we do that, you want to take that off the post. What I like to do is sort of like pin it against the side of the battery to make sure it's not going to touch the post again, won't connect the circuit. Alright, so then once we got that done, we can work on the positive terminal now. Again, make that nice and loose. So this one's a little tough, but that'll be fine. And you take that off, pin that onto the side, and then you want to take care of the hold down. On this one, it's going to be holding it on the bottom part of it. But with other batteries, what you might have to deal with is one where it goes over the top with something like this, and there will be some holes at the bottom where the hooks will attach to it, and that's how I'll hold it down. So on some batteries, depending on the manufacturer, they might use that one. So here, you can see we just get it on there like so. Alright, so in this case, depending on your coordination, you can take it out. This is what it looks like when it's holding it on the bottom. You can take it out. If you're good enough with your hand-eye coordination, you can leave it in and just slide the battery in underneath. Alright, so at this point you would take the battery out, but since this is a good battery, and also it's kind of hard to take it out with one hand while holding the camera in the other one, I'm going to leave it in here. This would also be the time where you would clean up the posts and terminals on the new battery with your cleaner. With these ones, I don't need to do that because they're already clean. But you'll just want to sort of put the brush into the terminals and clean it out that way. Alright, so once you have the new battery in, you want to put back in the hold down. And the reason they have these hold downs in there is to stop the battery from vibrating while the vehicle's in motion, because those vibrations will cause the battery to die quicker, and we want our batteries to last as long as possible. So once again, we'll use the electric impact. Just put that on there. And then once you do that, you want to make sure battery does not move. It's very critical. Alright, so now we're going to move on to putting the terminals back onto the vehicle. And so with this, instead of doing negative first, positive second, we're going to go with positive first. And again, this is the same reason. When you're taking off the battery, you want to take off the negative first, because if you accidentally hit anything with the positive terminal, you could cause a short. And what that'll do is it'll cause some sparks to fly. And depending on what they hit, they could start a fire. And that's just a safety hazard that we don't want to have. So we'll tighten that up. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then we'll do the same with the negative. You might have some little sparks there, but that's all right. And then we'll tighten that up. Make sure that's nice and tight as well. And so this is all you need to do to install the battery. The last step you'll need to do is just verify that it worked. So then you'll just come in to the vehicle. And that's how you know you've properly installed the battery. Alright. Now for some disclaimers. Depending on the manufacturer of your battery, it might be a little challenging to get to it. So I would recommend going to some forums online, or possibly a mechanic that you know, and they'll definitely have some tricks for you to get it done. Also, if you own a hybrid vehicle or a fully electric vehicle, I highly recommend you take that to the dealer, just because there's some precautions you need to take with those, and you can't do those at your own home. Alright, so thank you for watching, and I hope this helps with your installation of your new battery. Alright, have a good one.